Imagine paying double for a cup of coffee, right? Knowing full well there's a cheaper, like, completely decent alternative right next door, and you actually feel good about handing over that extra cash.
Right, which, logically speaking, makes absolutely zero sense.
0 cents. Because usually when we talk about acquiring a customer, it's framed entirely as this math equation. You spend a specific amount on targeted ads, you offer a 20% discount code, and boom, mathematically, a transaction happens.
Yeah, it's very clean, it's predictable.
Exactly. It's completely transactional, but then you walk past certain local businesses, right? The places that are just always full.
Yeah, the ones with those fiercely loyal regulars.
Right. The people who just refuse to go anywhere else. And suddenly that whole mathematical equation just falls apart
It's-
because they aren't running crazy promotional discounts and they're definitely not spending a fortune on billboard ads.
No, they're really not.
So, like, what on earth is their secret? Well, welcome to today's deep dive. Today, we are looking at this really fascinating dynamic explored in research by Titan Digital UAE. And our mission here is to unpack a strategy called belonging marketing.
Which is such an interesting concept.
It really is. We're going to explore the underlying psychology of why people abandon their discount hunting habits and how businesses are actually turning one-time buyers into lifelong regulars simply by mastering this one invisible mechanism making people feel like they belong.
And honestly, we have the perfect petri dish to examine this phenomenon. The source material grounds this entire concept in the United Arab Emirates.
Oh, yeah, the demographics there are wild.
Exactly. Just
Yeah.
think about it for a second. You have a population made up of over 190 different nationalities.
Wow.
Yeah. Yet according to the 2026 Cigna Wellbeing Survey, a staggering 86% of expats living in the UAE say they feel at home.
Wait, 86%? That's massive.
It is a massive data set of people who have actively chosen to, plant roots and seek community in a place that isn't their original home.
That is just wild when you really think about it. And because of that highly diverse, high transition environment, this core paradox plays out. Most people just assume customer loyalty is something you buy.
Right, the old punch card method.
Yeah. You hand out a punch card or like a 2-for-1 coupon, and you assume you've bought their loyalty. But the data reveals something entirely different. It shows that when a business successfully engineers a genuine sense of belonging, they build a customer base that becomes practically immune to competitor discounts.
That word immune, that's the critical part. Because traditional marketing, or what the research calls the standard promotional model, it's entirely predicated on competing on price and convenience.
Right.
And let's be fair, that model is highly effective at getting someone to walk through your door for the very first time.
Sure, yeah, a freebie gets me in the door.
But its fatal flaw is that it builds zero emotional switching costs. So the second a cheaper option appears down the street, that customer is just gone. Because their only anchor to you was the price tag.
It's exactly like a sugar rush.
Well, that's a good way to put it.
Yeah, a discount gives you fast, cheap energy, but it doesn't sustain you at all. Traditional marketing is basically like renting a customer for a day.
Renting a customer like that.
Right. Whereas belonging marketing, it operates more like a complex carbohydrate. Or, to stick with the analogy, it's like moving in together. It takes a little more time to establish, but it provides sustained, long-term energy. You're not competing on a price tag anymore. You're competing on identity and recognition.
Yeah, because the customer returns, because leaving your business would actually feel like a genuine personal loss to them.
Wow, yeah.
And that identity shift has a massive financial footprint. The source material cites findings from the Harvard Business Review, demonstrating that customers with high belonging scores toward a brand have a 5 times higher lifetime value than transactional customers.
Hold on, 5 times.
5 times higher.
Yeah.
They aren't just returning to buy more. They are acting in a firewall against your competitors. And this is key. They're actively recruiting their friends to join the ecosystem.
Okay, I hear the numbers, but I'm kind of struggling to picture this outside of a sterile corporate case study. Like, if I am a local business owner and I don't have a massive marketing budget, how does this actually manifest on the street level?
Okay, well, let's look at Mina Marina and Ras Al Khaimah. You see this playing out perfectly there, completely organically. Let's look at 3 very different local spots from the research. First, a local barber shop.
Okay, a barber.
Right? Getting a haircut is an incredibly vulnerable personal service. For an expat who is, thousands of miles away from their hometown, finding a barber who intrinsically understands your specific hair type, your style, and the cultural nuances of how you present yourself, That goes far beyond mere convenience.
Yeah, you don't have to explain yourself every time you sit in the chair.
Exactly. It is a profound act of feeling known. It establishes what we call psychological safety.
That makes total sense. The regular sitting in that barber's chair isn't pulling up their phone to check if there's a cheaper fade 2 blocks away.
Not at all.
Because the financial cost is totally secondary to the psychological comfort of just being in a space where they feel understood.
Precisely. Now, let's shift over to an Italian restaurant right on the marina. Food is essentially edible memory.
Edible memory. Oh, I love that phrase.
Right. So, for an Italian family living and working in the UAE, a restaurant that gets the pasta exactly right, where the chaotic, loud greetings feel just like Sunday dinner back in Rome, that isn't just a place to consume calories. It serves as a literal thread back to familiarity.
It's a community hub.
Exactly. The restaurant operates as a community hub.
Which means they don't need to blast aggressive 2-for-1 pizza promotions on Instagram to get that family to come back. The product they're actually selling isn't just the pasta, it's the warmth of the old country.
Exactly. And the third example from the research is a Lebanese chicken burger stand. This place functions as a social anchor. It's a designated space where people from the same background naturally gather, where conversations echo in a shared dialect, and the owner knows not just the regulars' names, but, like, their kids' names, too.
So the common denominator here, the barber, the Italian place, the burger stand, is that none of them are trapped in this race to the bottom on price.
Right. They've completely opted out of that race.
But, while these business owners might be doing this instinctually, the source material points out there is actual documented science behind why this works. The UC Berkeley Othering and Belonging Institute has a whole framework for this.
Yes, their belonging index.
Yeah.
The researchers identified specific conditions that drive belonging in any context, whether it's a neighborhood or a local economy. And what's brilliant about the Titan Digital UAE analysis is how they map these academic concepts directly onto the daily operations of local food and beverage businesses.
Like our local cafe proxies, right? The Italian restaurant and the burger stand. So let's unpack how that actually works in practice, because this is where the theory hits the pavement. The first foundational pillar Berkeley mentions is psychological safety.
Right, which we touched on with the barber. It's that feeling of being recognized. In a cafe setting, it's the barista starting to pull your regular espresso shot the moment they see you walk through the door.
Yeah, before you even open your mouth.
Exactly. That recognition signals to the human brain that you are safe here, that you're part of the tribe.
But safety alone isn't enough, is it? I mean, I feel safe in a sterile hospital waiting room, but I definitely don't feel like I belong there.
Yeah, no one wants to hang out there. Which brings us to the next critical pillar, authenticity. Showing the true, unvarnished reality of the business.
Okay, let me pause you right there. Because usually when marketers talk about showing the true reality, they throw around the word authenticity. And, authenticity has to be the most overused, hollow buzzword of the last decade.
Oh, absolutely.
Every massive corporation claims to be authentic. What does that actually mean for a small local business trying to engineer belonging?
It's a totally fair pushback because the word has definitely been weaponized by marketers. But let's look at the mechanism of what authenticity actually does here. The guide provides a really sharp contrast to explain this. Think back to that Lebanese chicken burger stand.
Okay.
Let's say they hire a slick agency and they go on social media and post highly polished, artificially lit corporate stock photos of perfect burgers.
Right.
To the community, that actually destroys the belonging signal. It feels corporate. It feels like an advertisement.
Because it's signaling that they care more about a glossy image than the reality of the food.
Right. But imagine if, instead, the owner pulls out his own phone
Ah.
and posts a shaky, zero-budget video. The lighting isn't great. He's prepping the evening batch of chicken, wiping sweat off his brow, and you can hear the ambient sounds of the marina and the kitchen chaos in the background.
Oh, yeah, I see those all the time.
That shaky video builds a massive belonging signal. Why? Because high production value signals a transaction like, you are trying to sell me something. But raw, shaky footage signals vulnerability and reality. And vulnerability builds trust.
That is such a crucial distinction. It's the difference between looking professional and looking human. If a business looks too perfect, there's just no room for the customer to connect with the actual human beings running it.
Precisely.
And I suppose that human connection is what leads to the next piece of the puzzle, right? Pillar 3, value alignment. Reflecting the community's core reasons for being there in the first place.
Exactly. Think about you, the listener, and why you choose to live where you do. If you're an expat in the UAE, you made a deliberate, life-altering choice to be there. Usually that choice is driven by core values like seeking physical safety, pursuing economic opportunity, or providing a better life for your family. So when a local business reflects those specific values back to you, like the Italian restaurant constantly highlighting how they accommodate large, noisy family birthdays rather than just quiet romantic date nights, it builds a deep emotional attachment. You feel aligned.
You look at the business and say, oh, they care about the same things I care about.
Exactly.
But, even if you nail the psychological safety, the vulnerability, and the shared values, a customer might visit on a Friday, have an incredible time, and then what happens?
Usually. Complete radio silence. Nothing happens until the customer coincidentally decides to walk past the storefront 2 weeks later.
And that silence is the biggest gap in the belonging model, which brings us to the fourth pillar, social connection. The research emphasizes that true regulars are actually created in the gaps between visits, not just when they're standing at the cash register.
This is where we have to translate that physical feeling into the digital world. The most critical question a local business owner can ask themselves is, if I am fantastic at physical belonging, if I know my customers by name, if my physical space is warm and inviting, how do I fix the broken digital signal when my online presence completely contradicts that reality?
Oh, we have all experienced this. You have a fantastic meal at a neighborhood spot. A few days later, you look them up online to recommend them to a friend, and their online profile has like 3 blurry photos from 2019. The opening hours are wrong, and there are unanswered, angry reviews.
Yeah, the spell is instantly broken.
It totally shatters the illusion of care. So how do we fix it? The source material lays out a step-by-step checklist of digital changes that any local business can implement immediately, right? Without a massive budget.
Yes, and the highest impact first action step 1 is conducting a brutal, honest audit of your current digital footprint.
What are we auditing for specifically?
You're auditing for the generic. Take a hard look at your website and your social feeds. If you could swap out your logo and your digital presence could belong to any other cafe or barber in any other city in the world, you are failing the belonging test.
Ouch. But true.
Right? Your digital footprint must explicitly show the real people working there, the specific physical location, and the actual faces of the community you serve.
And the most important piece of that digital footprint isn't even your website anymore. Step 2 is optimizing the digital front door.
Yeah.
The Google business profile.
Absolutely. A lot of business owners treat their Google business profile like a static map listing. But it's actually the arena where community trust is either built or destroyed before a customer ever decides to visit.
So how do you inject community into a search engine listing?
By understanding the mechanism of how people read it. First, you need those authentic, unpolished photos we talked about earlier. Show the messy kitchen during the dinner rush. Also, keep your hours aggressively accurate. There is nothing that destroys trust faster than a customer showing up to a closed door when Google said you were open.
Oh, I hate that so much.
Right. But the absolute most vital mechanism here is how you handle reviews.
Okay, let's dig into that, because everyone knows you should reply to reviews. But most places just use a copy-paste template like, "Dear customer, thank you for your feedback. Please email us."
Which is entirely counterproductive. When you use a corporate template to reply to a human being who took the time to write a review, you're broadcasting to the entire neighborhood that you view them as a transaction to be managed.
Yeah, it feels so cold.
You have to understand that when you write a highly personal, warm response to a review, especially a negative one, you aren't really writing it for the person who complained.
Wait, who are you writing it for then?
You are writing it for the next 500 people who are going to read that exchange.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. When a community sees an owner take a deep breath, put their ego aside, and respond to criticism with genuine care and a desire to make it right, it acts as a massive bat signal. It proves that there are real, accountable human beings behind the counter.
That is a fascinating way to look at it. The response isn't customer service, it's basically public relations for your character.
Exactly.
And that same philosophy extends to step 3, right? Short-form social content. Using platforms like TikTok or Instagram Reels.
Exactly. And the beauty of this approach is that it requires Zero budget. It goes right back to the shaky phone video concept. You use these platforms to bridge that silence between customer visits.
Just showing the day-to-day stuff.
Yeah, you post behind-the-scenes content. You have the barber explain the technique behind a specific fade. You show the restaurant owner haggling over fresh produce at the morning market. You're showing up in your customer's feed, maintaining that social connection so when Friday rolls around, they already feel like they've been hanging out with you all week.
Which brings us to the final step in the checklist. Community response behavior. If someone comments on that video, you treat it like an actual conversation across the counter. You don't just like the comment, you respond, you ask questions. You treat the comment section as a continuation of your physical dining room.
When you combine all of this, the raw photos, the personal review responses, the behind-the-scenes videos, you are building a digital moat around your business.
You know, think about your own phone right now. Think about the massive food delivery aggregators taking up space on your home screen. Looking at this belonging strategy, it strikes me that this is the ultimate defense mechanism against those massive apps.
Oh, that's an interesting point. Walk me through your thinking on that.
Well, think about how an aggregator app operates. They only know how to compete on algorithm and price. You open the app and it shows you whatever is geographically closest or whatever massive chain is running a free delivery promotion that day.
All right.
But an algorithm cannot, under any circumstances, code for community identity. A local business that establishes a real emotional sense of belonging doesn't have to live in fear of being buried on page 4 of a delivery app because their regulars are going to open the app and type their specific name directly into the search bar.
That is a critical insight. Aggregators compete on frictionless convenience. Belonging competes on deep-rooted loyalty. An app can bring me a generic burger faster, but it cannot replicate the feeling of the owner asking how my kids are doing.
Exactly. Okay, so we've spent a lot of time talking about the consumer side of this, the daily coffee, the barbers, the neighborhood restaurants, but I want to play devil's advocate for a second.
Sure, go for it.
It's easy to see how a mom and pop shop can build emotional connections, but does this concept of belonging scale? Does it apply to corporate boardrooms? What about business to business, or B2B? If I'm selling $1 million software contract, a shaky phone video of me making coffee isn't going to cut it.
It is a totally valid challenge, and it's one the research addresses head-on. The psychology of belonging absolutely operates in the B2B market, but you have to understand that it operates on a completely different frequency.
A different frequency. Okay, let's break down what that actually means.
Well, in a B2C business-to-consumer environment, the frequency of interaction is incredibly high. It plays out in daily or weekly consumer habits. You buy a coffee every single morning, you get a haircut every 3 weeks.
Right, the touch points are constant.
Exactly. But in B2B, the frequency is much, much lower. You might only have a procurement cycle, a software update, or a contract renewal once a quarter, or even once a year.
Right.
But the commercial weight, the financial risk of that decision, is exponentially heavier.
So if the interactions are that rare, how does a mid-sized B2B company actually build a feeling of belonging without seeming, I don't know, desperate or annoying?
You have to step back and remember the human element behind the corporate title. The B2B buyer sitting across the boardroom table is still a human being. Let's return to the UAE context. Imagine you are pitching to a B2B buyer who holds a golden visa.
Okay, and for those listening who might not know, a golden visa is essentially a long-term residency program that the UAE offers. It fundamentally changes an expat's time horizon. They go from being a transient worker on a 2-year contract to someone who can legally plant roots for a decade.
Exactly. So this buyer with the golden visa, their kids go to the local international school down the road. They have a mortgage. They're not just a transient corporate drone. They're a person who deeply wants to feel rooted in their local professional community, just like the regular at the barbershop wants to feel rooted in their neighborhood.
Oh, that makes sense.
So in B2B, you don't build belonging with shaky kitchen videos. You build it on 2 different pillars: shared professional identity and long-term market commitment.
What does that actually look like when a B2B company sits down to design their marketing strategy?
It means auditing your corporate website and completely ditching the generic, borderless, buzzword-heavy copy that could have easily been written for a company sitting in London or New York.
So no more synergizing global paradigms.
Please no. Instead, you publish editorial content that speaks directly to the real operational friction of building a business specifically in the UAE. You write about local regulatory changes. You publish photos from local networking events you attended, like the Strategic Business Connects initiative.
Which is a local governmental networking program designed to link businesses together. By talking about it, you're proving you're actually on the ground.
Exactly. You name the community. You name the specific geography. You discuss the shared challenges of your specific regional market.
Got it.
The mechanism here is signaling to that B2B buyer. We aren't just a faceless vendor extracting money from this region. We are committed to this place, we are navigating the same local challenges, and we are in the same boat as you.
So whether you are selling a $10 chicken burger on the marina or a multi-million-dollar logistics contract in a boardroom, you're ultimately dealing with human beings who desperately want to feel like they are interacting with someone who understands their specific reality.
The underlying psychological mechanism is identical. The emotional driver, the need to be seen and understood, is exactly the same. It's only the execution and the frequency of the touch points that change.
Wow, we have covered some serious ground today, and it really shifts how you look at the businesses around you. We started by exploring the fundamental paradox of why the sustained energy of belonging marketing utterly crushes the sugar rush of the standard discount model, and how it generates a 5 times higher lifetime customer value.
Yeah, and then we moved past the buzzwords and looked at the actual mechanics of how to engineer that feeling using Berkeley's 4 pillars: psychological safety, authenticity, shared values, and maintaining social connection and the silence between transactions.
Right. We looked at the specific steps to fix a broken digital signal, like why a personal response to a negative review is really a billboard for the rest of the community, and why raw, unpolished video builds way more trust than a slick corporate photo shoot. And finally, we saw how this exact same psychology scales up into the high-stakes world of B2B relationships.
It truly represents a fundamental shift in how we view the relationship between a business and the human beings that make up its market.
So as you go about your week, why does this matter to you? Whether you are a business owner trying to figure out how to start bleeding cash on discounts, a marketer who is exhausted from constantly fighting the social media algorithm, or honestly, just a consumer deciding where to spend your hard-earned money this weekend, understanding these mechanics completely changes your perspective. It reveals the invisible psychological strings that actually tie a local economy together.
And I want to leave you with a final thought to really chew on. We've spent this entire time analyzing what businesses are doing to foster this feeling in you. But let's flip the mirror for a second. Think about your own habits.
Think about the next time you find yourself fiercely, almost illogically loyal to a specific local business. The place you absolutely refuse to stop going to, even when they raise their prices, even when parking is a total nightmare, and even when a cheaper, shinier option opens up right across the street. Ask yourself, are you really just buying their product? Or are you actually paying them to hold up a mirror that reflects your own identity, your own values, and your own sense of home?